Hello and welcome. This is Cynthia from the Specialized Center for Stuttering, and I'm here with Emmanuel. Hi, Emmanuel.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, and thank you. I'm very happy because you are here. And well, to start, could you please introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is Emmanuel Addo, and I am a person who stammers from Ghana. Been stammering since I learned how to talk. I cannot remember when it started, but then I've been told it started when I was very young. Currently, the president of the Ghana Stammering Association, a support group leader, a stammering support group leader in Ghana and also in Africa, and also volunteer with the World Stuttering Network. I'm very passionate about stuttering, and it's something I want to research into more and to be able to also offer help and support to young people who stammer of all genders. Yes, so that is my life ambition and my passion. So passionate about everything stuttering related.
Yeah, and thank you for your precious time. We are going to share a bit about an interesting topic that is support groups. And well, we know that everyone has their own journey, and some people may have found a support group when they are like teenagers, or maybe some people when they are adults. And I'm curious about your experience finding a support group, a community for people who stammer.
Great. Thank you so much. This is a very interesting question, because whenever I get asked a question like this, it brings back a lot of memories, good memories and bad memories. So with me, with my story from where I grew up, in Ghana, that's in the early 90s, there was less was known about stuttering. Less was known about stuttering. And as a child growing up, all that I saw was my brother stuttering, my cousin stuttering. So to me, I thought, okay, this could be something that runs within the family. And I had a lot of struggles whilst in school, no support system whatsoever. It was very difficult for me, challenging in class when I, 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 I would have to read out loud in class, because that was part of what you have to do. It was being scored. And the difficult part then was that you were being judged just like how a fluent speaker was being judged. So if the person who is fluent is required to answer within a minute, you're also required to give an answer within that 1 minute. And if you are not able to, you get caned or punished, because it's assumed you don't know the answer. So there was not much I could do. I felt afraid each time I was asked to go to school. So I didn't have that growing up. JHS, when I was in junior high school, yes, junior high school, I had some few class teachers who understood me, and they tried to support me. That boosted my confidence. And so there I was a student leader. I was the assistant school prefect. So that helped, yes, because it helped me to realize that even though I had a stutter, I could still lead. I could still be able to offer some leadership, to my mates. Then fast forward to senior high school, it was very terrible. To university, not too good. So I was an introvert. I didn't want to get too much into other people. I would keep more to myself and hardly mingle with people who were not my friends. So I was only free with my friends. And so but then I began to search for a stuttering support group more when I started working, because there was a point in time I became like the head of my department, because the substantive head was unavailable, and it was the end of year, and every department had to present a report to the board of directors and management. So it now fell on me to do that. I prepared, as a person who started. Then I was very afraid when I was required to speak in public. So I took my time. I prepared this thing that I was going to read. I had to make a lot of edits to take out the words that I anticipated I'll stutter on. I took them out, and my report became something scanty, very little. So I sent it, and then they were like, no, you can't present this. It's too little. Add something more. So you can imagine this back and forth. I was getting really tense. So it happened that day. I presented. I felt my world crashing. I felt everything was just crumbling. I felt alone in that room at that point in time, stuttering, my hands shaking, the paper shaking, my lips just. Well, it was a terrible experience. But at the end, they clapped for me. They just clapped for me, and then we discussed the report and all that. So when I went home, I felt very depressed. I felt very bad and angry with myself. I told myself I wasn't doing enough for myself. So I started looking online to search to see if there are others like me, other people who shared the experience that I shared. Before then, I didn't bother to go that deep to look for a community or to search for a community until I experienced this, and I said, okay, this is it. I have to find people like myself, people who can encourage me and support me. So I went online, started searching, and I came across a support group in Ghana called the Ghana Stammering Association. Initially, when I found, I was like, okay, so is this a group of people who stammer or who stutter? They meet, and then what happens? So I I contacted the leader. He was very welcoming. He's called Mr. Elias Apreku. Very welcoming gentleman. I went for their meeting, and that was the turning point of my life. I went there to seek help, but when I got there, I found out that I could be the help others were looking for, because I thought my situation was bad. But even though I was stuttering, I've been able to go through school. I've had my bachelor's degree. I was working as a professional, earning well. And then these were young people contemplating to drop out of school, contemplating to end their life. Like they didn't have any hope because of a condition that I have been able to navigate. So I realized that, okay, even though I wanted help, at this point in time, I have to put mine aside and help others. So, and then I said that has been a turning point in my life, because that has been the driving force. Since that day, everything that I've done with my life has been to support and to build a community for persons who started here in Ghana. So that's how I came across a support group. And yes, so maybe I'm sure you have something else you want to ask.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your journey, and I believe that It was very kind. You were very kind to share with other people that courage or that motivation. You were like an inspiration for other people, but at the same time, you were looking for that. And but well, it was very generous because you were like, as you mentioned, putting the needs you were like you were looking for something, but then, oh, I believe they need more help than me, so I will give that help. I give that my time, I don't know, my experience with all of them. And I think at the same time you were helping yourself when you were like trying to help others, because it's like makes you feel different, right?
Sure. Yeah, because there's also one thing: you cannot help others, or you cannot give what you do not have yourself. So, in my quest to support them, I had to read more on stuttering. And the more you read about a condition, the less hold it has on you, because you now understand everything about it. Nothing takes you by surprise anymore. So I had to read more to understand what is happening. So even as I was helping others, indirectly, I was also helping myself. So that even boosted my confidence. It boosted my confidence. It made me realize how valuable a person I was. Because before I thought everything about me was just stammering or stuttering. That's what I thought about myself. But meeting the community made me realize that I had more value than just the stutter. So I was more than my stutter. I'm not a stutterer, but then I would say I'm a person who stutters, a person before my stuttering. So I was helped tremendously by going all out to support others also.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think you found the community at the right time. Some people may think, I wish I had found us this support group before, but maybe it was not the appropriate time for that person to find a community to be with others like them. Yeah, it's the right moment, the readiness. Yeah,
Yes.
to change something and to be the change for others as well. And I believe there are many benefits. Well, you mentioned some of them indirectly about having this community by your side or belonging to a community. Could you please share some of the benefits, like to benefits of joining these support groups?
Yeah, sure. So with the benefits of joining stuttering support groups, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then I believe depending on the mindset or the perception that a person has before joining a support group, whatever benefit the person would derive would differ from one person to the other. But with me, or for me, the benefits I've gotten out of it immense. Number one, it's boosted my self-confidence, and I mentioned that earlier on. Number two, it's given me a passion, something I'm very passionate about. Yes, I wish I could be able to reach every young person who stutters. I wish I could reach every young person who stutters, but that was something that I lacked. So now seeing young people who stutter, I now like there's this drive in me to reach out to anyone who needs help about stuttering. I always want to be able to go to them. And stuttering has also given me something that has made me leave the first profession that I had. Like I don't want to say it's giving me a job, but I don't know which word to use, because before I was a biomedical laboratory scientist, but then after joining the community, and I've realized that, okay, there is much work here to be done. There's a lot of research to be done here in this field. I took a total switch. I made a switch from the biomedical sciences to become a speech and language pathologist or therapist. And it's something I've enjoyed doing. Yeah, and I wouldn't have gotten here to this point if I hadn't joined the community, because I wouldn't have known the magnitude of work that is out there that needs to be done, especially here in Africa, where speech and language pathology as a profession is new. So we have less pathologists around, speech and language pathologists around. And even with the number that we have, it's only a few of them who are interested in working with persons who stutter. Yeah, so there's less research. Here in Ghana, I can tell you on authority, as we are speaking now, if you go online to search for articles or research papers on stuttering, here in Ghana, you get less than 4. Published, so far, I've seen only 1 published article about stuttering in Ghana. So it's also giving me a passion to follow in life. Yeah, so a lot. And also it made me to get to meet so many other people, so many nice people like yourself. If not for joining a stuttering group or community, I wouldn't have met all these beautiful people I know of in Ghana, in Africa, in Europe, in America. I've gotten to know a lot of nice people, those who stutter and those who do not stutter. And I was telling you at that time that I have special respect for persons who help or who devote their lives to study about stuttering or to support persons who stutter, who do not stutter themselves. Because that has been my motivation. So I'm just wondering, so what is their meaning? Your motivation is up there. Yes, there's something within you that pushes you, so I am very thankful for the stuttering community. I've met beautiful people. And I'm sure as it's a journey, so as I keep working with persons who stutter and supporting them, there are a lot more things that I would get or I would benefit, not monetary wise, but then things that I would, happiness, joy, and things that I would get that would really, really, really make my dream come true. Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many benefits of joining support groups or belonging to a community. And yeah, you mentioned so many things. I can resume it to maybe improve the quality of life. You mentioned joy, you mentioned meeting new people, and the boost that you get maybe after meeting someone who stutters, or after meeting I don't know, therapists, and share the same passion. So yeah, I believe it impacts the quality of life, and makes the journey easier with other people around you, because they can share like similar, I don't mean the same, but maybe similar experiences. And that's very nice to not feel alone or different from others, and to maybe reduce that avoidance that you had before when you were a child, and now you're like facing many situations, and that's great to see. And that's also great to meet people. Well, I am a speech therapist. I'm not a person who stutters, but I also relate with you when you mentioned about meeting people who stutter around the world, and that's amazing because you can share and you can feel like, oh, I'm someone, and I mean something to another person that it's maybe around the world. And that's important, and that's very nice. And nowadays it's easier to connect with people due to the internet. So now, well, I believe that some years ago there are many online support groups, and in Facebook that many people can join. So there's not like just one. They're like, I don't know, thousands, hundreds,
Yeah.
maybe hundreds
Yeah.
of support groups, but online support groups. And what are your thoughts about those online support groups or those online meetings?
Okay. With online support groups have been game changing. It has helped. It has helped, especially myself, because I couldn't have imagined being here in Ghana and having access to other persons who started across the continent of Africa. You know, sometimes I just imagine. So while I was growing up, if there were social media and then I had access to a mobile phone or an internet connected device, would things have changed for me? Would I have had an easy time growing up here in Ghana as a person who started? And I think, yes, I would have. So what it actually means for other young people is that they do not have to physically be with others, but then just with an online thing, they can be in the comfort of their homes and still have that important connection. They could be in the comfort of their homes and get access to insights, get access to the experiences of other persons that they've not met before. And I have friends from across Africa who join my monthly support group meetings. And sometimes I get amazed when they relate with me as if I'm someone they've known like for years. Sometimes the testimonies they give about the impact of the support group meetings we have online. And I just think to myself, so what would have happened to this person, to this guy, to this lady, if not for online support group meetings? So it's really changed a lot of lives. I wouldn't saying that would be an understatement. It's changed a lot of lives. These online support groups that we do, so many people have found purpose for their lives. And sometimes I just go online on Facebook. There are these support groups there, and I just go and read some stories of some persons who started. And you read certain stories, and then you feel heartbroken. But then within that space, this individual receives lots of encouraging words, receives support. People extend hands of friendship. So they do not feel alone any longer. They understand what is happening to them and they know that there is hope. Yeah. So it's done a lot. And let me also share this short personal experience. Last year during Starter Fest, the research part, yes, I know persons who starter who are professors and all that, but then I've not actually sat down to watch them present. But the last year, I watched the scientific presentations, and as it was being delivered by professors who started, I had this encouragement. I said to myself, this is something I could also do. This is something I want to do. He's doing it. We are listening to him. So I can also do same. So it's boosted my confidence. I told myself, yes, I want to be like this professor. See, even though he's stuttering, he's still making his presentations. And we are following, and he has added knowledge to what we already knew of. We are building on our knowledge, listening to him speak. So it made me aware, or made me more conscious of the fact that it's not always about the way we talk, but it's about the content. And all this awareness came from online support group meetings, Cynthia. So it's really helped it's helped me and it's helped many millions of people across the world.
Yeah, I think there are many advantages of these online support groups because you can join whenever you can, wherever you are, and convenient, very accessible for many people, and you have many options as well because you can choose what meeting you would like to attend, and as you mentioned, you can develop friendships. You can make some friends, even if they are not so close to your country or your continent. Yeah, and yeah, I think also, yeah, it can allow people to make baby steps maybe because they are not so sure about attending a face-to-face super group, and they can maybe I can just listen, and or maybe I can read the experiences, or maybe I can like this or comment, or then share. And so those baby steps can be helpful for people that maybe are not so sure about how they are going to feel when they meet someone who stutters, because I have heard some people that say, I maybe I'm not so comfortable when I meet someone who stutters, or if I'm not comfortable with myself, how can I meet someone who stutters? No. So that online way to approach support groups might be very interesting, because that baby steps to, and then attend to the Zoom meetings, and then show your face, and then show up, and maybe say something or write. Yeah. That can be very helpful. Maybe you don't want to say something, but you can type a comment, or yeah, your experience, and then the next time you can like share something. So I think that it also has many advantages, as well as face-to-face support groups, obviously, that can be maybe for some people that like this, to show up, or like to see others. And yeah, there are many options, so people can choose to attend to a face-to-face, or if they are very far from that meetings, there's the virtual option. So yeah, I think it's a bright future. Do you think?
Yes. It's a game changer. Here in Ghana, most of our support group meetings now are held online, because before we used to do face-to-face meetings, but then we're not having the numbers coming in, and the excuse sometimes, which is very reasonable, it's about distance, the cost, and the time. But then if it's online, once we move online, we now have diverse people joining in from all across the country. Persons who we hadn't seen before in any of our meetings were now able to attend our meetings, to participate, and all this goes to boost the confidence. And also, the more we have people from across the country joining us, once they get empowered, just like myself, they also end up empowering others around their region. So it's something that we are using one stone to kill multiple birds. And that is something that online support groups or meetings are actually doing here in Ghana and in Africa. And I'm sure it's happening all over the world too.
Yeah. That's why I always recommend support groups, and because it's something that may help the outcomes for the outcomes of the therapy. So if someone is having a therapeutic process, could be very nice also to join support groups. They are not antagonists. They can be like very important to maybe have both, or maybe just the support groups. It depends on the person. If if the person wants to join therapy and also a support group or just support groups, or yeah. So it's a very individual journey and choice. And I'm very happy to to share this with you and to talk about this important topic, support groups. And I don't know if you would like to share like a final message to people who stutter or speech therapists.
Okay, so okay, so now as you mentioned speech therapist, let me start with the speech therapist. I'd like to thank speech therapists all over the world for the great job they are doing with persons with communication difficulties, especially within our field, persons who work with persons who stutter. They are doing a very good job. I know it's not easy working with a person who stutters because it's one of the speech impairments which is difficult to measure its outcome because there's a lot involved, emotions, behaviors, and all that. So it's quite difficult. So not a lot of speech therapists want to work with. So thanks to all speech therapists out there working on stuttering. And I want to encourage all of them, especially if you are a speech therapist and then you are not used to referring your clients or not giving them the option of joining support groups. I think it's something that we need to start doing now, knowing the advantages that they stand to gain from joining support groups. And to my friends who stutter all over the world, if you are not part of a support group, I just want to remind you and to just gently suggest to you that give it a try. Just look for a support group around where you stay. If there is none, look online. We have a lot of groups that you can join. And I can recommend the World Stuttering Network to you. We have lots of meetings there. Once you join our page on Facebook and you're able to follow our activities, you get to know different meetings available to you that you could join free of charge. You don't pay anything, and you will learn from other persons, and you'll be supported, and you'll be able to attain your maximum potential. Everything is possible. Join a support group if you can, and you derive lots of benefits. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I can feel the same passion we share and the enthusiasm we share about. We speak with enthusiasm because we love this field and we are very passionate about stuttering, stammering, and thank you very much for sharing your experience, your journey, your knowledge about this field. And well, thank you also to the ones that are going to watch this video and are going to hear this podcast. And well, once again, thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you for the opportunity for giving me this platform to speak to your friends and to everyone across the globe. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.